That brings us to our final point of strategic leadership. Before we get to the final point, let's just remember that strategic leadership is a deliberate and well-planned vision of your leadership. So let's look at the last point. The last point of strategic leadership is trust. Trust is a very difficult thing to work with, because we look at trust, it has to be built over time. It has to be thought about. People that work for you have to trust the things that you're doing and the direction that you're taking the organization, quite honestly. So let's talk about that. But before we get into that, I want to share with you how I see trust playing out in the real world, because I think that's an important point of what we do when we show or demonstrate trust with other people. I was assigned to the United States Army Europe and Africa organization, which covers obviously Europe and Africa. And I was assigned there as the chief technology officer. And so we had a very large organization. So for just a kind of a background for those of you who don't know, so this command inside the United States Army has about 60,000 people working for it. So this is a very large organization. They're dispersed over 2 continents. So at the time, John shows up to this organization. Morale was at an all-time low. This organization was in disarray. Not the entire organization, but our directorate was in complete disarray. John comes in, getting in brief from all of us in the executive, chief of staff, executive secretary, myself, talking about the things that are going on, what's going to happen. And they're starting to set his calendar. John turns to the chief of staff, who controls everybody, the division chiefs, me, executive secretary, him, everybody, and he turns to her and says, I want to personally, within the first 30 days, meet every single person in this directorate. And when I mean meet, I mean I want 10 minutes blocked out for them at their cubicle, where I just get to talk to them, find out who they are, their family, what brought them to Germany, all these types of things. I want to talk to them about them. I want to know about them and who they are. All 250 people within the first 30 days. Here's what we saw after those 30 days. Actually started with inside that 30 days because word got around about John. Morale instantly picked up. People cared about their work. Teams were becoming more interested in what was going on, not just with inside the directorate, but what was going on with inside Europe and Africa for this command. They found energy in that. They trusted John because John cared about them. That's where trust first starts getting built, is where people know that you care about them as an individual. And this is where trust is so important when we look at strategic leadership, when we look about how we deliberately and have a well thought out plan. This was not something John came up with on the spur of the moment. This is something John had planned early on in his career that he would do in order to team build, in order to get those who are working around him, no matter how small or large, they would earn his trust. And that is strategic leadership.